Artie Bucco is one of my favorite characters in The Sopranos. He has an incredible talent for cooking, but is also a complete wreck for a majority of the show's runtime. Season 6, Episode 7 is the culmination of all of his troubles, and the final scene of the episode is my favorite scene in the show. Artie, at a glance, is a pretty simple guy. He owns a restaurant, has a beautiful wife, and has a great friend. That last part is kind of a lie. Tony Soprano is where a lot of Artie's problems begin, because of Tony's direct actions and also because of the world he brings with him. Tony blew up Artie's original restaurant. That was a move Tony made because a hit was planned to go down at his restaurant, and that would have ruined its reputation, and Tony decides that the best course of action is to burn it down. What? Artie's insurance pays for a new restaurant, and it ends up being more successful than his previous. This doesn't make Artie any less upset, reasonably so, because it was done behind his back.
Dude, because I don't give a fuck anymore. Go ahead. That restaurant was like my child.
But that's just how the mob does things. This incident eventually becomes water under the bridge, but Artie still has emotional problems that he lets boil in his mind. Artie begins to have marriage problems because of his anger issues and his detachment from his restaurant. The truth is, Artie is envious of Tony Soprano and the mob lifestyle. He sees these men cheat on their wives and make money just by beating the shit out of people. Artie wishes he had that control that Tony Soprano supposedly has. He hires hostesses that he is attracted to, and the restaurant is made into a regular spot still for the mob. This obviously doesn't solve any of his problems. His wife ends up not divorcing him, but his wife is still unhappy with him. He's still detached from the kitchen, from his cooking. In episode 7 of season 6, we see what comes from Artie Bucco welcoming in this fantasy to his restaurant. The mob is having a meeting at his place, but they are already finding new places to go because they are unhappy with his food. He finds out his hostess has been running a credit card scam with some small Italian man.
I know she makes more than me, but they cost like $600.
I'm sorry. I'll pay you back.
How could you do this to me?
You are so mean to me.
Like helping you find the apartment? Teaching you to drive?
This, and the fact that a rabbit almost ate his seeds he got from Italy, reveals just how little control Artie seems to have. This results in Artie showing up to the small Italian Benny's door and beating the shit out of him, and he somehow doesn't get killed for this.
Gracie, motherfucking meatball dog shit!
Artie rants to Tony and his envy begins to show. At the restaurant, he makes a bad comment towards Benny, and Tony barges into the kitchen to tell Artie to stop talking to the customers.
You bitch and you moan, and you blame everybody else for your problems, instead of maybe not letting the Mexicans do all the cooking for you, or, I don't know, changing the menu, or changing the decor.
Tony may not be a great guy, but he does reveal what Artie desperately needs to see.
I'll tell you one thing, and this is very hard. Nobody wants to hear you talk. Just stay in the kitchen. I'd be a start.
Artie isn't a mob guy. He doesn't express himself through long dialogues with customers. He doesn't have people cook his food. He should be in the kitchen.
Sally just seated a couple.
Kitchen's closed.
A couple shows up to the restaurant when they should be closing. They are here because they couldn't make it to the city. This is reminiscent of Artie welcoming Tony's family on a rainy night. Artie doesn't seem so welcoming this time around. He's still angry, but his wife says they are already opening a bottle. He can't get out of this, and he can't rely on someone else to cook. He takes out the rabbit he killed, pulls out his old recipe book. This contains not only a history of Italian dishes, this is also Artie Bucco's history in these pages. What he needed in life wasn't some unobtainable lifestyle. He didn't need to build up all this anger from the outside world. That isn't productive. He always had what he wanted within. It was always here, in this world he had built. He doesn't need to take his anger out on people. He can turn that anger into passion towards his art, his craft, his cooking.